At Amatip IT, we believe in transforming people's lives from low income to high income, from bad business to profitable business, and from no job to a high-paying job. We believe in making financial power easy to obtain by following proven principles. The way we transform people's lives is by challenging the current informational landscape to provide creative solutions, coaching, and mentoring services designed for transformation. And we happen to produce great professional UI/UX design courses. Do you want to join us in the training program now? Come with me.
US Design Professional course powered by Amatip IT, an IT company based in London, United Kingdom. So we are in the introduction section of UI/UX Design Professional course, and we are in part 5 of the introduction session. In the previous part, we have discussed what product is, what product design is, the type of product we are specializing on as a UI/UX designer, and also we have talked about why UI/UX design is important, and the UI/UX design process. And in this particular section, the part 5, will be talking about the skill needed in UI/UX design and what is the difference. And when I say what is the difference, I mean what is the difference between normal UI/UX designer and a professional UI/UX designer, which you are also on the journey to become one of the professional UI/UX designer. If you have the opportunity to complete the whole course from the beginning to the end. Okay, so let's dive into the agenda for today's class. Okay, so we'll be talking about the skill needed in UI/UX design. Before you can be bold enough to call yourself a professional UI/UX designer that can work for any tech company as a UI or UX designer, these are the skills important that you must have. The first skill is the user research, but I will not limit you to user research. I will call it research because it involves different type of research. You do the user research, the competitor research, the market analysis, different kind of research. And how do you carry out this research? The principle behind all the research, the methodology you can apply. You must have a very good skill in research, in UI/UX research. That's the first skill. And once you acquire that, you should have the skill of information architecture. That is, you should able to structure information properly on a particular project, be it for app development or for a web development. Where each of this information, where should this information go, where should we locate this particular information, what information should go where, all the decision will be making during the information architecture. And you must have a very good skill in information architecture before you can call yourself a professional UI/UX designer. And also you must have a very good skill in wireframe and prototyping. For now, if you are totally new to the field, you might not know what wireframe or what prototype is all about. But as we are moving on into the training section, you will see what we are talking about. But for a quick overview, I would like to show you a sample like how wireframe look like. You can see these guys, they are putting some sketch down about a particular product they want to design, and this, you can see the white paper, the sketch they are putting down, that is the wireframe they are about to do. We have different procedure like normal sketching, in which you can use paper and pen to do, or some low fidelity tools that you can use to do it. But when we get there, you will actually see what we are talking about, and the prototype might a little be different from the wireframe, because you can have a high fidelity wireframe. But that is not where we are going for now. What I just want you to understand in wireframe and prototype is that as a product designer, before you can design any good product, you must have a clear understanding about the anatomy of that product. And when I say anatomy, I mean you must understand all the functional parts that made up that product. And by the time you're able to design each of those parts and bring all of them together to form a product, that is when you have your wireframe or your prototype. But you cannot design a wireframe or a prototype without having a good knowledge about the anatomy of the product, about the parts that made up that product. For more clarity, what I'm trying to say is that, let's assume you want to build a car, but you don't know different parts that should be in the car before it can become a car. You don't know that it's something called gear, that is something called clutch, that is something called steering. Talk less that you know how they look like or how you should design them. With that, you might not able to design a reasonable wireframe or prototype of that product. But because we as a UI/UX designer, we understand every component of a mobile app, every component of a website, the standard method, the standard component, the standard skeleton of every software, mobile app or website. That is why it is easy for us to able to design each of the parts that made up this product and bring all these parts that we design together and call it our prototype or our wireframe. But if you are totally new to the free, don't worry, because we will take you through all this process together in a real life scenario in which you will understand everything, and we will make it easier for you to understand by explaining it in the most simplest way, in the most simplest form that anybody can easily understand. And once you understand this, you will be able to also be producing your own professional wireframe and prototyping by the end of this training program. Okay, the next skill you're supposed to have is UX written skill. UX written skill. And as time goes on, you will know what we mean by UX written skill proper. Because in any mobile phone app that you have on your phone or any website you have been using, you will definitely see that there are some tests there. But those tests, they are not just tests. Those words, they are not just words. They have meaning. and they have interpretation, and they have message that they are passing through to the user, which is very important to have a very good skill on them in order to choose the right word, the right text to use on your product. Okay, this skill is very important as well. And the next skill, which is skill number 5, is thinking in this decision thinking. In UI/UX design, you can't just do something. You have to think before you make a decision on whatever you are doing. Okay, and this skill, you cannot just acquire it. You have to pass through the process to acquire it, and we will take you through this process by taking you through a real life project. Because if you have the opportunity to be one of the people that will undergo a full training program for this course, we will be working together in our company to execute a real life project together, and this will allow you to gain all these necessary skills. The skill number 6 we'll be talking about is critical thinking. You should be able to critically analyze the information you have at hand and make good decisions based on that critical analysis that you carry out on the information. You carry out research, you should be able to filter short, critically analyze the information you have at your disposal in order to make a good decision. And the next skill is curiosity. Curiosity is very important in UI/UX design. And the next skill is collaboration. If you can still reflect back to the previous part, the part 4 of the introduction session that we previously discussed, where we used a story of Mr. A, Mr. B, and Mr. C, and a king as a scenario. In that scenario, you will see the person that win the highest payment, that able to win the last sustainable business with the king, is Mr. C, because he have the collaboration skill to combine his own personal effort as a UI/UX designer together with the programmer effort, together with the front-end developer, able to manage all these skills together, all these people together, in order to produce a good product for the king that actually solve the king problem and provide an everlasting solution. So this collaboration skill is part of the thing that you gain in this training program, because you will be work in a team together that is carry out a real life project on UI/UX design for this company. Okay, and also the communication. You might good in speaking, even better than anyone else, but that you're good in speaking, you are verbal, it doesn't mean that you can communicate well at professional level. Speaking good English doesn't guarantee you that you have good communication, because the communication we are referring to here is you are working in a team with your colleagues, with people that you are working on the same project together, and you should be able to give them a clear communication about what you are doing, where you are working towards, and able to also understand their own language. And when we are talking about this language, is the language that combines all of you together, which is UI/UX design language. Because if I say something like wireframe or prototype or information architecture or navigation or menu, and you don't know the meaning of that what I'm saying because you are not used to that word, you are not used to those professional terms before, it will affect your communication skill. And that's the reason it is important for you to work in this type of company to build your communication skill as far as UI/UX design is concerned. When we say communication, it doesn't mean the normal English you are speaking before or the normal terms you have known before. We mean the skill, that the language, the communication that involve our own field. Because when you employ as a UI/UX designer, you won't be speaking that language that you are speaking before. You have to talk to your colleagues as a UI/UX designer. And the last skill we have here is empathy. You have to have that feeling of love for other. You have to love your customer, you have to love your colleagues, you have to love to produce a product that is valuable to every individual that you target as your customer. Okay, now this will lead us to the question, what is the difference? What is the difference between you that want to become a professional UI/UX designer and ordinary UI/UX designer on the street? Now, the major difference is this. What some people, the normal UI designer know how to do it. They know how to do wireframe and they know how to do prototype because they can use some tools like Sketch, Figma and the likes. They can use all these tools to create a wireframe or prototype. Maybe somebody have given them the wireframe, they can use it to produce a prototype. They can design very beautiful something, but they can design a beautiful wireframe, a beautiful prototype, but all their design is based on their own intuition, on their own belief, what they think that is good. They use red because they think red is good. They use green because they think green is good. They choose color based on their own intuition. They make every decision, they put everything in any place they put it because on their own intuition that it will be good here. Let us put it here, it will be good here, based on their own experience. Maybe how they see people doing it online, how they see people doing it on YouTube, how they see people doing it, but without base their own decision on a critical thinking, on a data a data support decision, and this will make their work useless in industry. And this is why you will see somebody that you think is very good in wireframe, is very good in prototype, it can give you a beautiful design, but by the time this person apply for UI/UX design job and they interview this person, they won't able to get the job because they just know how to do it. They don't know why they are doing what they are doing. Maybe they are using template, they see a beautiful template online and they copy and do something like that as well. You just know how to use the tools, but you don't know why you do everything that you do. You don't know why you carry out why you make every decision. Your decision is not based on data. You make decision based on your own intuition, and that might not might not produce a useful product that the company needs. And that is why most of them end up being in that street. But you, as a professional UI/UX designer, you need to have all these necessary skills and be making use of them in your day-to-day activity as a UI/UX designer before you can boldly call yourself a UI/UX designer. So, for instance, let's assume, just a minute. Let us know I was given a job to produce a wireframe for a home page of a website, and I just go online and see somebody that designed this one, and this one is good, it's nice. If I give them something like it, they will like it, and I just look at this and emulate it in my own design, do something, and maybe I just change the yellow to green, something like that, change the blue to red and the lights, and it looks similar. Okay, it's fine, let me give it to them. But what if they don't ask you, why do you use yellow here? Why do you put the image here? Why not here? You will give answer based on your intuition. Okay, I just see I think it is good there, it looks nice. That is not a database decision. In industry, we make our decision on data, because you don't want to make a decision that you will regret tomorrow. You want to make a decision that will be valid forever and ever. Let me give you some example of database decision. If you look at your computer, look at the keyboard, you can see that the keyboard arrangement that we have been using since, we are still using it today. Go and check any computer, the keyboard arrangement, the architecture of the keyboard is still similar for every computer, be it Apple, be it HP, be it Dell, be it Lenovo. Different, they are unable to completely change the architecture of the keyboard. They can slightly change some design, but they cannot actually completely change the whole keyboard, like change the arrangement of the key, change the arrangement of the numbers on the keyboard and the lights, the alphabet arrangement. They cannot totally do it, because they are okay, because I'm a different company, I will do my own like this, because it won't work. Before they arrive at that keyboard design was based on data, and because it was based on data, which it is a valid data, it's still making that design to be valid since exists from the beginning till now. That is the reason you have not really seen anybody that are able to come up with another keyboard and say, no, ABC, the alphabet on the keyboard should be arranged like that, or several of that. If you want to make change, you can only make some few changes that will not totally affect the architecture of the keyboard, and that is achieved because the design of the keyboard was based on data. They have experimented, they have done their research to study human hand, study human body, study hand movement, study finger movement, study what is the best for the keyboard design. And because they base it on data, it has been there like that, and we are still using it to date. But I don't mean they just want to produce a keyboard then and they just put every key on anywhere they think it should be. We will have seen different varieties of key arrangement, and that will cause a lot of problem in the society, because if you know how to use HP computer, you will not know how to use your keyboard in Apple computer when the keyboard is different. But how do we make decision in each of these stages? How do you make research decision, information architecture decision, wireframe decision, prototype decision, UX rating decision, decision thinking, critical thinking, curiosity, communication, collaboration, empathy? How do you go all about all these things in a professional standard? You will be guided to do that in this professional UIUX design course. And mind you, this course will give you all the necessary experience, all the necessary skill, and by the time you go for your interview, whoever interview you for the job we actually know that you have already acquired all the necessary skill they need for the job, and you will be get employed, compared to somebody that just know how to make an interface to be beautiful without having any principle that back all those design. Because the content of each app you'll be developing or the website you'll be developing, the content are different. You can see we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have WhatsApp, we have Twitter. All of them, they have websites, but the content of their website, the content of their product is different. The information architecture of Facebook is different from the Instagram, is different from the WhatsApp, is different from the Twitter. But if you just think, okay, because you can draw shape, you can pick color, you can do light, and you can copy what Facebook do, and you can also do it, that have not make you a professional. But if you can back up all your decision with a good data, with a good critical thinking, that is when you become a professional UI UX designer. Okay, you can see the normal one will drop all the process, but they were good in wireframe and prototype production, and they will show you what they can design, but they cannot justify all those decisions. And all the design they do did not based on any facts, and that will only make that useful and beautiful to them, but not to the customer or to the target audience, because you have to carry out the research that will give you in the information about the audience, do the proper information architecture based on the information that you have at hand, before you can now produce a wireframe or prototype that suits the problem and make decision on US rating and the likes. And this is a feat that you cannot do alone, because let's assume you have a project that have thousands of pages. How long only you want to create that? So you need to work with people in team, in collaboration. All these skills are needed, and that is what you're about to gain. This is a life-changing to you if you make decision to join us in this professional UI UX training program. Okay, so in the next training program we will be talking about the tools. That is the next part of the introduction session of this training. The tools that you need for your research, the tools you need for your information architecture, the tools that you need for your wireframe and prototypes. And these tools are the tools that we are using at the industry. And once you master all these tools that will be exposing to you during your training program, you will be able to work perfectly in any tech industry as UI UX designer. So I will be seeing you in the next class, where we'll be talking about the tools of UI UX design. Thank you. See you in the next class. Bye.